Oh, hi there. This might be the closest I've recorded to a street ever, potentially, because this is a newish location. This is the very end of the trail that I'm usually on. So because of that, I don't know what is going to happen, what we're going to see, but I'm winding down to the end of the challenge. And so I need different locations to record. And so here I am, day 25 of recording in different locations and different spots. So hopefully I've chosen a time where it's not as crowded, because the entry into this trail is literally probably 15 steps away from me. So that is why I'm here. Also, I noticed this tree is kind of going through it right here, but I just thought, you know what, let me put up the camera and let me record there. And hopefully too, with cars, it doesn't get too busy or too loud. I tried to pick a good time of the day to come and record. Anyways, no one's here to hear me talk about where I'm recording. So if you were here, this is February challenge. Every single day in February, I am hitting record, no editing. Unless somebody gets in my shot, I will edit them out. But I am just talking to the camera. Whatever the analytics tells me that I need to talk about or that people are interested about, I am actually picking that topic and I am talking about those topics. And it's weird. This is like almost my last one of these, but here I am. So that is the February challenge. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, do all those YouTube things. That would be fantastic. Also, this little football ring is my favorite. It's so adorable. I just love it. Anyways, let me get into my topics. Let me see what my analytics is saying. If my iPad will unlock itself, that would be fantastic. It is so loud here. I don't know if you can tell that it's loud. I actually feel like I'm yelling. So it will be interesting to see what the sound sounds like in this one. If it gets too bad, I will put a filter on the sound. I don't know what my mic is actually picking up as opposed to what I actually hear. So just know if you notice the sound comes and goes and it gets a little weird on the replay, I did put a filter on it, but I will put in the comment section below if I ended up putting a filter on the sound. So there's that. All right. So topics. We have NFL playoff highlights all time. Very cool. Georgia Bulldogs football news. Welcome everyone that is here that is a Georgia Bulldogs fan. And you know, I said that if Georgia popped up in my analytics at all, as soon as they popped up, I would talk about them, mainly for motivated and dedicated. So I am going to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, but let me just read through some of these other ones. But I am going to talk about Georgia just for him. So if you're watching this or when you watch this, you're welcome. This is just for you. And let's see. So football analysis 2025 draft. Great opportunity to talk about the draft. That's amazing. Here comes somebody. So Dominique Foxworth show podcast. I've never heard about that. What is that? Football's greatest managers. Let's see, football's greatest managers, Nebraska football highlights, Super Bowl predictions. Interesting. Sunday night football post game. I'm recording on me, so it won't get you at all. Yeah, you're totally fine. Let's see, advanced football concepts, American football terms explained, Kentucky football recruiting. All right, let's see here. All right, Dominique Foxworth show podcast. Football's greatest managers, Nebraska football highlights, Super Bowl predictions, Sunday night football post games, college football challenges, advancing football concepts, American football terms explained, Kentucky football recruiting. I just read through those twice just because I don't know if you picked up me on the first one, because like I said before, it's really loud and there was somebody walking by. So I wanted to be respectful of them because I could tell she was really shy. She didn't want to be on camera. So I read those twice on purpose, just in case you're wondering. And like I mentioned at the top of this, I am going to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs football news. So like every other team, Georgia Bulldogs football news. Okay. Like every other team that I'm covering, I didn't do any research. This is just what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling based off what I know or what I think I know. The other thing that is cool about doing Georgia is Texas has played Georgia the past 2 years. This year we don't have to play them. Good thing, because Texas can't beat red teams. By the way, Texas, hook 'em. So that's also interesting. The thing I love about Georgia though is their coach. I love Kirby Smart. I love and trust Kirby Smart. And you all have been here with me for a long time. Some of you haven't been here with me for that long, but you should know that I do not trust coaches. It is hard for me to trust coaches, and I just don't trust them. And so there's not a lot of coaches that I actually trust, but I do trust Kirby Smart. And the reason why I trust Kirby Smart is because I expect Kirby Smart to figure it out. And However, though, the past 2 seasons, really 3 seasons, haven't really gone how Georgia has wanted those seasons to go. And that has been surprising to me, mainly because I'm going to say this, and I might get crap from Georgia fans, but just go with me a little bit here. So NIL is here. NIL is here, collective is here, all those different things are happening. That is helping other teams. That is helping people get players. I am not here to say that Georgia is not paying players. I am not saying that Georgia is not using NIL. But I feel like we give Dabo Swinney a lot of crap at Clemson for being very vocal about not liking the transfer portal and being very vocal about some of the things that he's trying to do with his football team. I'm starting to wonder how much Kirby Smart actually agrees with Dabo Swinney, because I don't think Georgia is like overspending and overdoing a lot of things. Georgia is probably more similar to Dabo Swinney than Georgia is to other programs, but we don't talk about Georgia in that way. So that is something that I always think about when it comes to Georgia is they are spending money. I'm not saying they're not spending money, but Kirby Smart makes it a point to say, I don't want you coming here if you're only coming here for money. I want you to come here for the football. I want you to come here to work hard. I want you to come here to be developed. I want you to come here and do all those things. He's basically saying he is not willing to pay. We just don't know what those numbers look like. And he's not as loud and outspoken as Dabo, and he uses the transfer portal. But does Kirby Smart use the transfer portal the way that other teams do? Well, no, and I can prove that. If my memory is serving me correctly, Georgia, out of the 12 teams that were in the playoffs, Georgia had 90% of their players. I think it's 90%. In the college football playoffs, I believe Georgia had 90% of their players that were recruited players. Those were their guys. 90% of the players on that Georgia football team were his guys. Only 10 of them were transfer portal guys. Let me repeat that. In the world of NIL and then the world of everybody else having 60%, 50%, 40%, Georgia has 90% of their own and only 10% of people they've gotten from the transfer portal. They're not using the transfer portal that often. The other interesting thing about Georgia is the team last year was very young. I think they were one of the youngest teams in the SEC last year. So when I look at Georgia, a lot of people are like, what's wrong with Georgia? What's wrong with Georgia? There's a part of me that wants to say that Kirby Smart hasn't adapted enough. He's adapted, but I don't think he's adapted enough. I don't think he's fully invested in paying guys a lot of money. I don't think he's fully invested in all the things that these NIL things are doing. I just don't think he's as outspoken about it as Dabo Swinney. And so when I look at the Georgia Bulldogs, it makes you wonder, does Georgia have great athletes? Absolutely they do. Are they going to win a natty with those athletes? We will see. They will definitely be more homegrown than any other team. And so it begs, like, what is the answer? Like, is the way that Georgia is doing this, because they were young last year, let's just say I give them a pass. Because they're Georgia, they've earned a pass. Let's say I'll give them a pass. Is the Georgia team last year going to be better this year? Most people would say yes, because he's proven that. Okay, so if this Georgia team wins the national championship and 85 to 90% of them are his own players, what does that actually mean for college football? I think it means that different teams can do different things. Yes, Georgia gets better talent than probably 99.9, probably 98% of college football. But the way Kirby Smart is building his teams is still very old school. We don't talk about it. We don't mention it because Dabo is so extreme. And then everybody thinks everybody else is just paying. But then there's Kirby Smart, who's kind of in the middle of this, that he's not really budging. He is not really budging. And if you're a Georgia fan and you're watching this, some of the things that you say when you don't get players is, yeah, but we're not willing to spend. We're not willing to waste money. We're not willing to splurge or overspend or overdo whatever. But is that impacting your program? Is that impacting your ability to compete and win the games you need to win because you're not overspending or because you're not spending? I think we are masking not spending with overspending. I'm not saying that Georgia's not spending money. I'm just starting to wonder how much money Georgia is actually spending. So that's my thing with Georgia. So are they going to be talented? Absolutely. I guarantee you, if you asked 25 people that cover SEC football right now and you said, hey, who are your top 3 teams? I guarantee you Georgia is going to be probably number 1, number 2, or number 3. Not many people are going to have them number 3, and not many people are going to have them number 2. because of talent. Because they have the talent, because they have the coach, and because they've been there before. That gives them a little bit of leeway, but I don't think we're paying attention to the way that Georgia's operating their program. Kirby Smart is Kirby Smart. They have a returning quarterback. I got it. Like, it's Georgia. Do I really need to sit here and talk about how good of a program Georgia is? They're physical. They tackle well. They play defense well. Like, they do all the things, right? Now, some people will be like, yeah, but did you see them play last year? Just like I don't say teams are going to be good because they were good one time last year, I am not going to say a team is going to be bad this year because they weren't as good as we expected them to be this year. Getting to the playoffs and getting to where Georgia was in the playoffs is still a feat. They were in the top 12 teams. That's still something better than what? 98% of the other teams. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I think Georgia's bad. I think what some people are wondering is if Georgia is going to take a step back. That is the question. And taking a step back for Georgia is still winning the SEC championship game, being in the SEC championship game, and maybe losing a playoff game. So again, I don't really know. There's a new age of football. Georgia is still Georgia. They are going to get talent. They're going to get athletes. Like, they're going to do the thing. And listen, I went to a Georgia game and they were barking at me. So what do I even say to that? What do I say about a fan base that's going to bark at me? It just is what it is, right? But seriously, I respect the hell out of Georgia, just like I respect the hell out of Ohio State. I like Kirby Smart. I like what he's doing. I do question if he's doing things the right way, or if he needs to spend a little bit more than he thinks he needs to spend. I guess time will tell. But those are my thoughts about the Georgia Bulldogs. They're a great team. They're a great organization, great school, great program. They're going to be ranked in the top 5, if not the top 10. They're just a pillar of stability with Kirby Smart. They are just like Ohio State. They are just a pillar of stability. And for that, I respect them. But let me know what you think in the comment section below about Georgia. I feel like there's some teams in college football where it's like, do I really need to go on and on and on and on about you? That's how I felt about Ohio State. I was just like, they're Ohio State. Like, if you don't know who Ohio State is, I don't know what to tell you. Then it's like, it's Georgia. Like, what do you want me to say? It's Georgia. Anyways, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. And as always, I'll see you in my next video. Oh, also, motivated and dedicated, you're welcome. I'll see you in my next video.